let's update the game state here for you as we're going to cut in both players waiting for our goal ahead. Soorani with a ton of lands in play, shocking. Does have his Planeswalker in Sorin, Lord of Innistrad, an Attention Sphere, Azorius Charm in the graveyard. You also see a Vampire token. For Mr. Turtenwald, we see a Grafdigger's Cage. I see a Reduke token, which is representing something. Yeah, it's probably a wolf.
I think Owen's insisted on this one.
Yeah.
I believe that he would.
Shining Knights. Turtenwald's going to draw a card.
Off the top of his deck. Yeah, so it looks like Shaheen has successfully established control. He has a active Sorin. The wolf token isn't taking it anywhere. It's going to keep ticking up. Shaheen has Owen at no wolf run, no cards in hand. Shaheen is up a card in hand. Liliana's a good one.
How good is it? All right, discard additional Sorin. Turtenwald's going to put that over there.
So Liliana to 4. I do like how the Sorins, like here, Shaheen could have just gone Sorin, make a guy, Sorin, make a guy.
Yep.
And by doing that, he would have had 2 guys in play, and suddenly the wolf token has no real attacks.
Yep.
So Shaheen instead is just going to let the Sorin go to 2. Owen's going to get milled for 3. Reveals that he did board in Underworld Connections.
Yeah, 2 lands also milled.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he's playing almost the same list as Pat Cox, which is the same list as everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see, going up another one, Vampire token to the battlefield.
Shaheen going to gain a little life, knock Liliana down a touch. As Turtenwald's going to untap, he's going to draw. See him drawing this card pretty carefully, kind of maybe representing that he has left Bonfire of the Damned in his deck. You're going to see a Scavenging Ooze come here off the top for Turtenwald. Soorani with just 1 card in his hand. Doesn't look to be a counterspell. Snapcaster Mage.
He's a Grafdigger's Cage. He can't do that.
He can cast Snapcaster Mage.
He's allowed to.
Yeah.
No.
Can't cycle, yeah.
Yeah. So now Owen is free to do what he wants with this Liliana. I'm probably going to tick it up anyways.
Yeah, I can't imagine he doesn't.
Yeah. Shaheen's card had to be something that he would cast it into speed. If it's a land, he would have played it.
Yep.
And I thought it was a revelation. I thought Owen was just going to die there.
Sure. So Turtenwald trying to figure out what he wants to do on his turn. How do I want to activate Liliana? Do I want to take it up? Do I want to take it down? You know, do I want to attack here with this wolf token?
It's I don't know how many creatures are in graveyards. I think that Owen's not really in a great place to attack with this wolf token and just trade it for the Snapcaster. Because I feel like having multiple threats in play versus the Vampire token making of Sorin helps him sort of grind it down a little better if you can find an answer for the Snapcaster Mage next turn, of which he probably has quite a few.
Rakdos Return, Abrupt Decay, and Thrakdos are the cards that are turned over there from the Natalia Drownyard activation from Soorani.
Shaheen making another Vampire.
Going to play Holophon just pass the turn back. So it's a little bit of draw go here. As Turtenwald's going to activate his Scavenging Ooze. He's going to remove a bunch of creatures with that mana. And they're going to grow the ooze. So we give him a 6/6. Turtenwald going to go up to 35.
Some large number. I expect that Owen's going to lose the game with 0 cards in the deck and not 0 life.
I think we're going to be attacking his deck. His deck is actually his life total now.
Yeah. Exception being if we get to Ultimate Soaring.
Yeah.
That's a long shot.
So let's see what Turtenwald drew for this turn. Again, does have Liliana. Soorani with no cards in his hand. Turtenwald does have 1. Also has that wolf token and the Scavenging Ooze, which is turning sideways.
Getting chump block. Shaheen going up to 32.
Yep. Turtenwald tapping mana. Rakdos is returned for 4. Going to take care of that Sorin, passing the turn back.
Shaheen no longer has a stream of chump blockers. Mill off Nephalia Drownyard, takes out a Liliana and a Huntmaster, but really provides the Ooze with more food. Snapcaster trades for the wolf token.
Turn back. So now Ooze going to eat the Snapcaster Mage. Turtenwald going to untap. Now Ooze is a 7/7. Turtenwald draw a card.
Interesting interaction. Grafdigger's Cage shuts off taking creatures on a Sorin ultimate.
Huh. Did not know that. You see 2 Ooze activations here before damage. Gonna push the ooze up to a 9/9. Very reminiscent of Legacy. This thing gets huge. It gains life. It does a lot of things.
Scary.
Turtle with another spell. That's 4 straight off the top. Thragtusk. Now Liliana gonna go up to gonna go down. Gonna make him sacrifice a vampire. Okay.
Clear the way for these big creatures.
Okay.
Shaheen. Detention Sphere. Scavenging Ooze. Out.
That's one choice.
Think he wants to kill the Liliana? I'm not afraid of that card.
I don't know. It's a very difficult decision. You see him looking through his exile, trying to get some information, trying to make a really, really informed decision on what to do here, and he is going to take down Scavenging Ooze. Shaheen actually finally draws a card of relevance, where Turtenwald has done that for the past couple of turns. Turtenwald draws his card, sets it face down yet again. Don't know what that's going to be. Start by attacking.
Shaheen to 18. Land.
Blood Crypt up.
Liliana up. Milieu.
Stomping Ground, Farseek, Overgrown Tomb.
Okay. Liliana back down to 2.
Soorani attacks for 1, plays a Hollow Fountain, passes the turn back. Turtenwald going to untap. He's going to draw.
Considering his options.
Attacks. 5.
Plays a land. Liliana up to 3. Maybe he was debating killing the vampire token, but he could wait until Shaheen has to chump block for a turn.
2 lands and a bonfire that I'm turned over from the Defy Drawn Yard activations for Soorani. He's going to tap some mana, excuse me. Forbidden Alchemy. Finally a real card for Soorani. So he's going to get 4 cards deeper into his deck. Jace, Architect of Thought is the card he takes. He puts 2 lands and an Appetite for Brains in the bin. Jace is going to show up now.
Jace can plus, shrink the tusk, stay alive, or it can just draw some cards.
So Appetite, Isolated Chapel, Watery Grave are the cards. See how Turtenwald splits these.
Interesting. Shaheen is still 1 short of flashing back Alchemy this turn. I feel like Owen's right to split the lands because that's all that matters.
Okay.
I was just thinking about which of the lands is better to put.
Sure.
With the Appetite. So Liliana takes down the vampire.
Oh, there goes the
Jace. Thragtusk takes down the Jace. Owen draws another land. Gets milled for 3.
Farseek Dreadbore land. Gonna count that library there. It's still a pretty decent amount of cards. Detention Sphere comes in.
You bet he takes on this Liliana? Or
I think he might want to take down the Grab Trigger Escape so he can flashback Alchemy, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, Soorani going to separate his mana, going to pass a turn back. Again, sitting at 14, facing down a Thragtusk. Very scary for him if Turtenwald draws a relevant spell this turn, or if it's a Kessig Wolf run.
Bonfire's actually lethal, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the question is how many did he leave in? You know, that's the big question.
I think the question, to answer your question, is how many Lingering Souls does he think Shaheen has?
Also true.
Shaheen has been known to go on and off on that card. Garrick, Primal Hunter.
Flashback Forbidden Alchemy. 3, 4.
Looking at a Tamio and a Snapcaster Mage as his real options. I think it's Planeswalker time.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, Warp Physique is in there as well, but that's not really doing much right now. So he does take a card. 3 more are going to go to the graveyard. Alchemy going to get exiled. Garrick comes in. So now Garrick is going to go up. There is your Beast token.
Liliana up. Appetite for Brains to graveyard. And Shaheen's going to take 5 down to 9. Tamio's going to be able to lock down this Thragtusk, prevent it from dying in the combat.
Oh, Shaheen draws Negate. That's the card he would have drawn. So Alchemy did not get him deep enough. So here is Tamio. So what is he going to do with this? Comes into play with 4 loyalty. Has not decided how he wants to use it. Cantripping right now, probably not the best for the -2 ability.
No, especially because if you lock down the Tusk, it either forces Owen to neg 3 the Garrick, or to... Oh, he's just going to cantrip.
He's going to cantrip, okay. Feels like he needs to get a card deeper in his deck. Draws a Azorius Charm. Had the opportunity to lock down Thragtusk, chose not to.
My thought was that the Thragtusk attack on Tamio, or the Beast token attack on Tamio, puts it to 2 anyways, and then you can draw 2 cards next turn.
Sure.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, like 20 cards or so left in Owen's deck. For probably about 5 or 6 ground yard activations, or 5 because the card's drawn.
Yep.
Or potentially about 2 drawn yards and a chase. Owen actually has to think about whether he wants to draw cards with this Garrick, though.
Yeah, well, he's just ticked the die down, so it's gone down to 1 counter from where it was at 4. So he's going to attempt to draw cards equal to large creature he has in play, which currently is a Thragtusk.
Does Shaheen have Jace Memory Adept here?
He has 1 in his main deck and 1 in his sideboard. Are they still in his deck?
It's a good question.
See, Turtenwald draws a Duress. He has another Liliana and Underworld Connections, a Hunt Match of the Fells. A lot of cards, a lot of mana. Start with Duress.
Shaheen probably going to negate that.
I almost think he has to.
I mean, you have 2 options. You can negate it. Oh, he's going to draw a card first.
Or, I mean, he can start with a Azorius Charm, get a more informed decision on how to discard. Sphinx's Revelation. Gonna be for 3.
Okay.
Gonna go up to 12. 1, 2, and 3. Duress is gonna resolve. You see 2 negates, Forbidden Alchemy, and a Glacial Fortress.
I feel like I might have waited to pull the trigger on the Revelation there. And just negated the Duress.
Well, if he negates the Duress, then the Liliana activation is gonna make him discard the Revelation. But I
Yeah,
guess
the
then
charm,
you Revelate in
right?
response.
Oh no, he didn't have the charm.
Well, his
Okay,
hand was negate charm,
There we go.
and then he charms into Revelation.
Okay, that's what's going on. Yeah.
So, gonna discard here the Glacial Fortress. Swamp gonna be discarded for Turtenwald.
Yeah, because if he does a Revelation, he's just locked into going down a card is not. And Liliana really hurts these decks.
Yeah, I mean, Liliana fantastic against these decks. Now, here's an interesting thing to note. Turtenwald attacks with both of those creatures. Going to put Soorani down to 4. But this means that Soorani can actually draw 2 more cards with the Tamio now. Where he could have tried to kill that. Attack with Thragtusk would put Soorani at 7.
Is there a significant difference between 4 and 7 here? Is it 2 attacks with a single creature? Or 2 attacks specifically with a Thragtusk?
Turtenwald going to play an Underworld Connections. The other thing I'm interested to see, because Turtenwald's already activated a Liliana Veil, he could play another Liliana Veil, replace the old one because of the new Legend rule, and make Shaheen discard again. But he chooses not to do that because he knows Shaheen's hand is multiple copies of Negate. So now Soorani's going to untap. Big question here is, does he have access to Jace Memory Adept in his deck?
Does he have access to a Sweeper as well? As
Also, draws Jace Architect of Thought.
I think he's going to cash in this Tamio for 2 cards while he can.
I think that would be a pretty good place to start. But he's going to start with Jace Architect of Thought. That's going to go down. There's a Supreme Verdict. There's a Glacial Fortress. There is a Warp Physique.
Easy
Verdict going to go
Owen.
on his own. Shaheen going to take it. Bottoms up go those cards.
Let's see. Verdict's going to land.
That's going to clean up everything but a Beast token from a Thragtusk dying.
2 Planeswalkers still going to hang out, as is that Underworld Connections.
Tamio going to tap the Beast token. Soorani passes the turn back. Pretty good turn there for Shaheen.
Owen's going to use one of his essentially infinite life to draw a card, if he's not afraid of decking.
Yeah, and I think that he might be here. Has to count the library, consider the cards drawn plus the drawn yard activations, just as you were earlier. 10 cards.
Okay, so that extra card drawn, let's see, 4 cards to 6, 4 cards again to 2. So Joey can draw 2 cards with this Underworld Connections before it changes the math on the draw board.
Okay.
The only question is, if he draws a single card, I think it keeps him out of range of a drawn yard on a specific turn. It looks like he drew Kessig Wolf.
Finally.
He's he's not going to expose that this turn. He's going to wait another turn until he can activate it the turn that he casts it. So he can have a untapped beast token.
Negate the discard. He is going to play another Liliana. New legendary rule, working in Turtenwald's favor right now. You see the discards off the initial Liliana, Negate and Farseek.
Liliana remains at 4 counters. Acts as a Raven's Crime.
Discard that Negate. Does not choose to counter it. Doesn't want to counter it because he needs to activate the Drown Yard.
Yeah.
So using the 2 mana, not a good idea there for Soorani. Turtenwald moving around his mana, has not activated that Garruk Primal Hunter just yet. Can also consider activating that Underworld Connections. You see Turtenwald taking a look at Tamiyo, making sure he knows all of the modes on that card. Knows that he's in a pretty difficult situation. He's got Soorani at 4, he's got Wolfrun in his hand, but his deck is almost gone. And will he draw a card?
9 left in deck for Owen. 8 left in deck after his draw step.
Yep. Boom. Gonna go down to 37. A little bit deeper. 3. There's that is. So Soorani activates the Drown Yard in response to the Underworld Connections activation. Garruk going up. There's a beast token coming in.
4 cards in deck for Owen. Gives him 1 more turn after this.
Yeah, it should be about 4 cards.
Yep. 1 draw on last end step from the connections, 1 draw for turn, 1 draw for connections. That's 3, and then 3 from the Drown Yard. Leaves him at 4. Leaves him at draw step plus Drown Yard. That's it.
Yeah.
Is Owen gonna win this game on an empty library?
So Soorani gonna cash in Jace Architect of Thought. Hit 1, Drown Yard. Hit
That's
2, Aetherlink. Hit 3, and that is gonna be game. So Soorani is going to tie it up. We are going to go to a 3rd and final game. You see the clock in the middle. They've got about 13 minutes to go. And this is not a short one. Might be a little bit more because they're a feature match.
Wow. 0 cards in Owen's deck at the end of that game.
Yeah.
The failure of Drown Yard, as always. William Jensen apparently advances to 6-0 at this open here.
Defeats Richard Panda Win. Richard, again, a player who's top-aided multiple opens, also top-aided Grand Prix Charlotte earlier this year, formerly the largest Grand Prix of all time. He gets his first loss at the hands of the future Hall of Famer, Mr. Jensen.
Richard, I remember he was doing pretty good in the Swiss. He went, what, XO, won all his matches in the Swiss, won his top 8 match in a recent open.
Yeah.
And then I think he might have accidentally slept in day 2.
Yeah, I mean, things happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
So Soorani, Turtenwald, Esper Control, Jun going to a 3rd game. You see him shuffling pretty quickly here. If you guys are just joining us, Cedric Phillips, Ari Lax here in the booth with about 12 minutes left in round number 6. You guys can join us on Twitter at SCG Live, hashtag SCGRICH. 2 stalwarts with 2 decks they're very familiar with. Soorani always playing Esper Control. Will be next weekend at the Invitational. You can bet on both formats, in Legacy and Standard. Again, Soorani is a player who has 4 consecutive Invitational top 8s.
So many.
4. I don't even have 1.
Yeah, I know.
I got close. I don't have 1.
Same.
He has 4 in a row. Turtenwald, just a former player of the year.
Shaheen he just wins with Esper. That's all I can say.
Hey, he knows what he likes.
Yeah.
And he knows how to play it quite well.
Does he, in Legacy, has he moved to the Deathblade version of Esper? Or is
No,
he still
goodness
no, never?
He just keeps it simple. He likes his Lingering Souls, Tom Martell style. Yeah.
Grand Prix Indianapolis, same deck as that basically, just battling it over and over, bashing people who think they've got the next level. And that deck actually gets a lot better because Vindicate becomes a lot more important in this game.
Yeah, Vindicate is going to be a lot better.
Right, because you can have Jace against Jace, and having the answer for their Jace is important.
The fun thing too is like Vindicate is the I like that Vindicate is the obvious answer.
Yes.
I'm interested to see what other answer people are going to come up with.
Red Elemental Blast is one of my personal favorites.
Yeah.
It was already one of the best answers to Jace, and I mean, if people want to move towards Jace and start fighting blue deck versus blue deck, Red Blast is the place to be.
I think people are going to come up with some creative answers that when both Planeswalkers are in play, or maybe Geist St. Traps is on both sides of the table, they're going to have some interesting ways to deal with that. Don't shake your head at Geist on both sides.
Geist on
all
both
the Geist
sides.
all the time.
I'm not over the fact that I can no longer image down a Geist out of vertical.
We see a Arbor Elf to start the show here for Turtenwald. He's going to get in for one, and you're going to see the pace of play pick up quite a bit here for both players. As a draw is not very good at this point in the tournament. They both already have a loss. Soorani going to play an Isolated Chapel, pass the turn back. Turtenwald draws a Kessig Wolf Run for the turn. Let's see if he has a Hunt Master of the Fells, maybe an Olivia Valderin. He's just going to pass back? Okay. Doesn't want to get a Zorish Charmed, maybe? Here's an Appetite for Brains. Get some info.
Yep. Thragtusk, the only legal target. Rakdos return Bonfire, Abrupt Decay, Wolf Run. The remaining cards.
Yep.
Shaheen plays a Glacial Fortress, passes with 2 up. Let's count here. He was on the draw, so he should have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Assuming no mulligans, 6 cards in hand.
Turtenwald's going to get in for 1 here. Daring Soorani to actually cast daring him to cast an Azorius Charm on Arbor Elf so that he could slide in Liliana. Shaheen took the 1. Liliana got negated, but I think that's what Turtenwald wanted.
Yeah, the clear bait.
Yes.
It's actually to the point where Shaheen, if he sees that, that's the tell from Owen.
Yep.
That he has something. Or maybe there's on the next level of Owen doing that to trick Shaheen and levels. We can go deeper.
Yeah, and Soorani looks resigned to his fate, knowing that I have to cast one of these, so I don't have a counter spell.
Yeah, if he's gonna play Jace, take it up, put the 5 out of range of a Rakdos return if Owen has a land. Which does not appear that he does. Looks like we're just gonna fire off a return for 3, put Jace to 2.
And
take
Shaheen is cardless.
He does have Jace though.
Yep. And does he let it go bye-bye? Because there is that Wolf Run activation that can kill it. And he is going to make it go away. So hit 1, Verdict, Negate, Snapcaster Mage.
It's not a bad 3 to hit. 3
not
spells
a bad,
is always nice.
Yeah, not a bad 3 at all. And again, Shaheen has a mystery card in his hand. So Turtenwald going to consult his hand, figure out what he wants to game plan. Again, remember, Ari, that he does have Abrupt Decay, Bonfire of the Dam, and a mystery card. And so he's going to split it, Negate, and Snapcaster Mage versus Supreme Verdict.
Shaheen picks up the 2 spell pile, unsurprisingly. Snapcaster Mage, Flashback, Appetite.
For Brains.
Whiffs. There's a Scavenging Ooze now.
Wow. Luckily for him, he's able to keep Negate up, though. And there's a Liliana Veil as the draw this turn.
Owen, looking at his options, he can Bonfire, Abrupt Decay. If he Abrupt Decays the Mage, he can get him the damage. He can Liliana take it to 1. First line of Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, I think that's the best place to start. Going to leave his mana open as well. No attacks there with the Arbor Elf. Just pass the turn back. Grow himself a large Ooze. Appetite for Brains yet again. More bad news from Soorani. He's going to miss, and he's going to see Liliana of the Veil. So he's got to keep Negate up. And so as a result, Turtenwald's going to get some activations here with that Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, he knows about the Negate in hand. So at some point he's going to have to run something into it.
Agreed.
It's just a question of, did he want to do it last year with the Liliana? Is the Liliana too important? Is he going to bait it with maybe a... His Bonfire doesn't seem that important.
I agree.
Or is he just going to hang out and let Shaheen have his card?
We don't know. And again, he's going to keep Abrupt Decay for a while, I think, because of Detention Sphere.
Yes.
So I don't think he's ever going to cash that in. Of course, it can't be countered, so it doesn't really matter. But here's Bonfire for 1. He wants to clear the way. He's basically saying, Shaheen, do you want to counter this? And we know Shaheen doesn't want to because of Liliana. Grow that Scavenging Ooze, and in for 5.
Yeah, that Bonfire got way more damage than a single mana, or an X equals 1 Bonfire should usually be worth.
So Soorani's going to play that Godless Shrine tapped again. He's going to play the lands that he draws because if he ever draws Revelation, he just needs to cast it for as much as he can. As Turtenwald draws with Thragtusk, slams that down. Going to go to 25, and Shaheen is under the gun. I think he might be facing lethal on the very next turn. He's going to draw a card. It's a Sorin. Conveniently enough, he can actually play that. But Kessig Wolf Run's going to make it irrelevant, and Shaheen's going to extend the hand. So, Owen Turtenwald is going to win game number 3 and they're going to move on to 5-1, defeating Shaheen Soorani. Jund taking out Esper Control, making Jund 5-0 on camera today.
Yeah, Jund has been just killing people.
Yep. Just slicing and dicing.
Nothing special, nothing fancy, just good red cards, good green cards, good black cards. I don't know what you want.
Yeah.
You want something cooler, guys? This is what's winning.
This isn't just. It's not just winning. It's dominating.
It is.
The hope